Imagine walking into an abandoned bunker. You find a can of beans sitting on a dusty shelf from 50 years ago. You wipe off the grime, crank it open, and it's perfectly safe to eat. In a world where an apple goes bad in a week and milk sours in days, how does a simple metal cylinder freeze time? Today, we're opening the lid on one of the greatest survival hacks in human history. How exactly does canned food defy nature, and why doesn't it spoil? Find out right here on Simple Things Surprising Histories. Let's rewind the clock to the year 1795. Napoleon Bonaparte had a massive problem. His armies were conquering Europe, but his soldiers were starving. Food simply spoiled too quickly on long military marches. Desperate, the French government offered a massive cash prize to anyone who could invent a reliable way to preserve food. Enter Nicolas Appert, a humble French confectioner. After 14 years of trial and error, Appert discovered something incredible. If he placed food inside thick glass jars, sealed them tightly with cork and wax, and boiled them in water for a long time, the food wouldn't rot. Appert won the prize in 1810. Shortly after, a British inventor named Peter Durand replaced the heavy breakable glass jars with tin-plated iron cans, giving birth to the canned food we know today. But here is the most surprising part of the story. Nicolas Appert had absolutely no idea why his invention worked. It took another 50 years for a scientist named Louis Pasteur to discover microbes, finally explaining why Appert's method was pure genius. You see, food spoils because of microscopic living things: bacteria, molds, and yeasts. They literally eat our food before we do, leaving behind waste that makes it rot. Canning stops these tiny thieves using a flawless two-step punch. First, the food is placed in a sterile can and sealed completely tight. This creates a vacuum, cutting off the oxygen that most bacteria need to survive. Second, and this is the magic step, the sealed can is blasted with intense heat. This destroys the bacteria and enzymes already trapped inside the food. Because the can is completely airtight, no new bacteria can ever get in. You haven't just preserved the food, you have created a perfectly sterile, dead environment. Time inside the can simply stops. But boiling water wasn't quite enough for everything. Scientists soon realized that low-acid foods, like meats and certain vegetables, harbored a deadly invisible enemy, a bacteria called Clostridium botulinum. This bacteria produces one of the deadliest toxins known to humanity. Even worse, it actually thrives in places without oxygen, like the inside of a sealed can. And its tough little spores can easily survive a regular boiling water bath. To defeat it, modern canning uses pressure cookers. By increasing the pressure, factories heat the cans to around 240 degrees Fahrenheit or 116 degrees Celsius. At this extreme temperature, even the toughest spores are completely annihilated. As long as the metal can doesn't rust, dent, or puncture, the food inside remains perfectly safe indefinitely. So, the next time you open a humble can of soup or tomatoes, take a second to appreciate it. You aren't just making a quick dinner. You are unlocking a 200-year-old triumph of science and engineering, a brilliant collaboration between a confectioner, an emperor, and a microbiologist. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this journey into the fascinating secrets of everyday objects, please hit that like button, share this video with a curious friend, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got plenty more stories waiting to be unsealed. See you next time.